Hi, my name is Per-Erik, and today I will talk to you about the fallback solution with Kotlin Multiplatform projects. One example would be that you need to implement something with a Swift package instead of a CocoaPod inside the shared project. I added the Koin Dependency injection library as a starting point. I also modified the starting app a little bit. It is just showing a message saying waiting for message. Let's just run and check how the project looks right now on Android and on iOS. So the first thing we need to do is to add an interface. In this case, we just call it service. You can call it whatever you like. It will have one function that takes a lambda function as a callback. Once that is done, we'll set up the dependency injection. We will add an app module where you can add your dependencies for the rest of the project, but we also need to add an expected module called platform module. We can now add the actual implementation on the Android side, and then we will do the same for iOS. Let's implement an Android service. Nothing fancy, it's just to prove a point. We'll send two messages to the callback. First we send waiting for Android, and then we send Android done. Once this is implemented, let's add the AndroidService to the dependency in platform module, and we will also need to remember to set up Koin. We do that in the app function. Here we can also add a launch effect just to get the message from the message updates from the service. Now let's run and see how it looks. For iOS, we implement the interface in Swift. So let's start by opening the project in Xcode. We create a class called IOSService that inherits from the service interface and add a similar functionality as on the Android implementation. We first send a message waiting for iOS, and then we send iOS done. Let's go back to Android Studio for a quick fix. Then, back in Android Studio and in the iOS main source set, we add a helper function. Create a file called platform setup. Inside this file, we'll create a public function called register service. Here we will access the Koin module called platform module that we created earlier, and we will add this service as a singleton. Now, back to Xcode. In the iOS app file, let's add the import for compose app and add an init block. In this init block, we call the register service function that we created. We do this by using the name of the file we created. And don't forget that we also need to add KT at the end. Capital K and small t at the end. Now, back in Android Studio, it is a little bit annoying that this function is marked as not used, so we can add an annotation to tell Android Studio that this function is used. Now, let's run the project and check. And that's all for this time. It's a short but hopefully very helpful video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe button, and don't miss my next video. Happy coding!